Welcome to the Little Miss Movies podcast, where two movie-obsessed parents make their 10-year-old watch movies she'd never watch otherwise. This is episode number 14, Sunset Boulevard.
Welcome to the Little Miss Movies podcast. My name is Christina, and I am a writer. I have a book on Jane Russell coming out in June, and I'm a librarian and an archivist, and I am very, very fortunate to be the mother of an amazing kid who is...
Hi, I'm Gable. I'm the amazing kid Mommy was talking about. I'm 10, almost 11. I'm in 5th grade, and I like Legend of Zelda, Animal Crossing, The Simpsons TV movies and books, and Harry Potter.
Wow.
And Minecraft.
Harry Potter has gotten demoted. I think it used to be the very first thing you would say.
Now it's Legend of Zelda and Animal Crossing.
Wow.
I forgot.
I thought you would segue. I thought you'd really give me the same, and I'm lucky enough to be the daughter of...
I'm lucky enough to be the daughter of...
Nope, I don't want that.
Why?
I want it to be natural. I want you to actually mean it.
What? Okay. And I'm lucky enough to be the daughter of the most awesome dad in the world.
Too late. Too late. I'm Josh. I'm a TV writer and a musician and other stuff. And I am her dad. And we are here for the Little Miss Movies podcast.
As Mommy said earlier.
Right. Whatever. See, terrible fathering. Just
Hey.
terrible.
And what do we do on the Little Miss Movies podcast, my dear?
You guys make me watch movies, then we talk about them.
Right, we do. And what movie are we discussing this week?
Sunset Boulevard.
Yes, Sunset Boulevard. Oh, I'm so excited. I think ever since I had a kid, I've been wanting to watch this. Citizen Kane was like the movie I really wanted to watch with my child, but this one is up there. And our beloved Hollywood Legion Drive-In showed it recently, and so we went and saw it. So you got to see it on the big screen, which is very appropriate, and I think Norma Desmond would approve. So Gable, why don't you tell us a little bit about Sunset Boulevard?
What do you mean by what I thought about it, or like?
Why don't you tell us? Well, what is it? Very, very briefly, what is it about? Can you describe it in just a couple of sentences?
Okay, it's about it's about a former. Sorry, I cannot think of the word. Former screenplay writer.
He's not former. He's just down on his luck.
Okay.
So he wants
Unemployed.
to work. There you go. There you go.
Unemployed. I did not know the word anymore. It's about an unemployed screenplay writer who then meets a former movie star, Norma Desmond, who is like living in the age of her movies, and she thinks that people still love her until she goes crazy.
Okay.
That's the whole movie.
That's the whole movie.
That's the whole movie.
I hope you all spoilers. I hope you all have seen it.
I mean, to be fair, she's pretty crazy at the top, too. It's not like it's not like a giant surprise. Just like suddenly, it's not like a light switch. We're like, oh, she's a crazy
and also
person.
she's making him read like her 10 million trillion page screenplay. That's like absolutely terrible.
Yeah. Well, he's having her rewrite it because it's going to be her big comeback movie, huh? So, what was your impression of this movie?
It was alright. It's good. Like if I say it was good, then
you can say whatever you
say.
You can say whatever you want, but
it was good.
But what?
It wasn't, of course, my favorite movie because there are only 3 movies that make that, or one of those movie series. But but it was a good movie. I'd probably recommend it. It's like an interesting movie, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What did you find interesting?
Weird.
What did you find interesting about it?
It's interesting that I feel like everything in it means something.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally everything in the movie comes back at a later point, or like it's from.
So it's like tightly constructed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is true.
Whatever that word is. Yeah. Because it's like I don't know what. Or like, can I do spoiler?
Yeah, this is a movie I think most people have seen.
Okay.
So go for
But
it.
it's like at the near the beginning, they say like she had a lot of husbands, but then later on, turns out that her servant was one of her husbands and her director, and it's like, what?
Did you see that coming?
No.
Mm.
Lots of surprises in it too. It's an interesting movie.
Well,
Lots of surprises and stuff.
it falls into the category that you've actually said you didn't like particularly much, which is it is a noir. And one of the defining characteristics of a noir, right, is that it's got a plot with lots of twists and turns and mysteries and surprises.
And it's confusing.
I don't know, were you confused in this one? I think this one's like super clear. Like they really do a very nice job.
It's confusing, like not in like plot or like kind of, I guess, no, like not like plot. It's confusing, not like
for the characters.
Yeah, not like characters, not like general picture of it. Like it's not like, wait, what just happened?
Not for the audience, for the characters.
Yeah, it's
the
like
characters are in situations they can't understand.
Yeah, it's not like, wait, what just happened? It's like, ooh, it's like the character, it's like, wait, what? It's like the character is like, wait, what just happened? But like the audience is like, okay, I'm perfectly clear on that.
Really? But do you feel like you're along? No, don't you kind of feel like you're along for the ride? Like when Joe first shows up at her place and there's like he goes into the room and there's the dead monkey.
Let me try and explain this better.
Okay.
It's like, it's not confusing as in general picture. Like it's not like
for the audience it's not confusing. Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not.
No.
It is confusing for the audience.
No.
It's like
Let me finish explaining.
It's like disorienting.
Yeah. Or it's like it's like not confusing in a general picture. Like it's not like a movie where it's like, wait, what just happened? That makes no sense to the general plot.
So you can follow
so like you
plot.
can easily follow it, but then like if there's twists and turns in the plot, then make parts of like the plot confusing.
Or confusing or more like
clear.
disorienting. Like what the heck am I watching? Like kind of that. Yeah.
It's like it's not like the audience isn't confused or like disoriented because like you said, it's like they're going along with the ride.
Well, that's part of what's kind of great about the genre, about noir, and what the writer-director Billy Wilder does so well is you're in Joe Gillis's point of view. Like you're deep in his point of view, and he spends a lot of the movie sort of going from event to event and thinking like, I totally have this under control. Like I know exactly what's happening. I know exactly what's going to happen next, and I can manipulate this, and then just keeps walking into things that are weirder and weirder and weirder until finally like it just overcomes him and he has no means to control it, and he kind of gives up.
And just falls into it. It's funny. I guess it's not. I don't think of it as being like a pure noir though. Isn't it more like I don't know.
I mean, she's literally a femme fatale. Like
a gothic noir? I guess so.
I do think it is weird that the whole thing is told by a dead man's point of view. Because he's dead.
It's a very film noir. That is actually, for me, that's what makes it a noir. Is it's
film noirs have dead people narrating it.
Like when you said it was a noir, I'm like, I don't know if it's really a noir. Oh yeah, because it starts off the way it does. I guess it is.
Yeah, the murder mystery narrated by the victim is a thing. There is a TV show. There's a Law and Order that is actually like structured that way, where the very first thing you see in Law and Order is the murder, and then you go through the whole thing like knowing who the murderer is and who got murdered, but then it's like, but why? And you don't care because you saw it because Law and Order. But this, you actually do care because you want to know like what got him there and what put him where he is, and how did things go so horribly wrong in this situation that should have been sort of a like cake situation, you know?
Mm-hmm. And how did you feel? Like, how did you feel about the characters? Like, did you like the character? Like, what did you think of Norma Desmond?
She was weird. And definitely not my favorite kind of character.
She was not your favorite kind of character? Why is that?
No. I just didn't like how she was, like, determined to hang on to the past. Mm-hmm. Where she was, like she was just like, I need to look back and pretend that I am living in this time that was, like, 30 years ago.
But do you understand why she felt the need to do that?
Because everything changed with like sound pictures and like everything else, it's like more. It's like bigger. It's like because the world of movies became like bigger and better than she was.
I don't know if they're better than she was. They just
bigger
became,
than she was.
They just became different, and she wasn't. And that happened back at that time when it switched from silent to sound. And there were a lot of stars that were really, really huge movie stars in the sound era, and they just weren't able to make that transition for a variety of reasons.
Like they had silly speaking voices, like their voice didn't match. No, seriously, like their voice didn't match their face.
Or if they had accents, because back when it was a silent picture, it didn't matter if you could speak, it didn't matter like what country you were in, because they would just put up titles. And so,
or dub it, which sounds
Well,
no,
it
was silent.
Oh,
So it was
oh,
all
silent.
music.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was all music.
Oh, if you're talking about the sound ones, I was like,
No,
or they could
silent.
just dub it.
Yeah, so people that had like really maybe thick accents, or didn't have like good speaking voices, or didn't have voices that kind of matched their persona, weren't able to make that transition. And that's kind of the implication here, is that Norma didn't make that transition to sound pictures.
Because she was like, I want silent pictures.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stick with what has happened and just have that for my entire life.
But she's not young anymore. And
she's like 50 and she was like 25 before.
She's 50, which made me realize, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not quite Norma Desmond's age, but I am very close. I'm getting very close to Norma Desmond's age, which is a little bit startling. But for actors, and I think particularly female actors in Hollywood, like youth and beauty is what is valued, and so she's still beautiful. I think Gloria Swanson, was absolutely stunning in this movie, but for that character, she's no longer young, so she's no longer a viable commodity in Hollywood. And so that's like one of the reasons why she is hiding away from the world, because she no longer looks the same as that young girl like on the screen, but still grasping onto like when that was her glory day. It's like, do you feel sympathetic towards her at all?
Little bit, but I still think she's weird.
She is weird.
I don't like her too much.
That transition, like that transition from silent to sound, it's interesting because not only did it affect the actors, it affected everybody. It affected writers, it affected directors. Like it completely changed everyone's careers. The thing that I always think about is there was an editor, director named Sergei Eisenstein, who's sort of thought of as the father of modern filmmaking, like in general. Like he understood, he kind of invented what's called montage. Like do you know what a montage is?
Like a training montage?
It is like a training montage.
That is
accurate.
That is one version.
It's like a series of like videos or pictures that explain a story in a short time.
Right. It's if you take two unrelated shots, two unrelated pieces of
and slap
footage,
them together.
and you put them together, and by putting them together, you get something different.
Yeah.
So the thing he's best known for, there's a movie called Battleship Potemkin, and it has famously, there's a lady with a baby carriage.
Yeah.
And there's like a fight going on, and she loses grip of the baby carriage, and the baby carriage goes down the steps. So they're down these like big, long, giant steps while there's stuff happening, and there's a guy like racing to try and get it, and it's this amazing, like super tense scene that's accomplished entirely through editing. Like
that sounds weird.
But it's amazing.
I'm sure the Simpsons has parodied it at some point.
What do you mean?
Multiple. I'm sure that scene of the baby carriage going down the stairs, the Simpsons have probably done it at some point. But anyway.
But he's one of the people who, when it switched to sound, his belief was that film would die, because he felt that we hadn't even figured out silent properly. Like, we had no idea how silent works and how to make great silent movies. And suddenly we have this crap going on. Suddenly now we have to make everybody talk. And he thought that like having people talk would essentially ruin any chance of film becoming an art. And
he was definitely wrong then.
And if you look, when color came in, exact same argument. happened. What are we doing with color? We don't need color. Like, if you can't tell a story in black and white, there's something wrong with you. Why are we doing widescreen? We don't need widescreen. If things were widescreen, how can you possibly tell a story? Like, how is making it widescreen a better story?
Did it happen when people got more high quality cameras?
That's part of it. I mean,
happened?
technology just advances. When home video started, everyone in the film industry said, this is it, we're done. Once there's home video, once you can go to a store and get a video, it's over. No one will ever go to the movies ever again.
They were wrong.
They were wrong. When cable
Movies are awesome.
When cable and HBO came out, everyone was like, no one will ever leave their houses ever again.
I mean, now that's true, but
it's not. That's kind of the point.
Well, now it's literally.
But now, even because it's almost impossible to actually go to a movie theater, people are still finding ways to go to the movies. People are still finding ways to go and appreciate those movies because it's like movies are the language of American culture, and it's the thing that we've sort of exported across the globe. And so as they evolved and as they became different things, like we had an expertise at making them work and at making them spread. But we've also done a really bad job at bringing people with us. So like as it evolves over time, tons and tons of people are just sort of left in the background. And that's what those actors from the silent era, that's what those directors and that's what those writers were all sort of left at, is they were all just sort of left as these like either you can swim with us or you go away.
Well, and I do want to point out that one of the big casualties of that switch were women writers, because during the silent era you actually had a lot of women doing the screenwriting, and at that time, because there wasn't dialogue, they would write, it would be scenarios, so they would kind of write like a general structure like of the film. And because it wasn't considered that important, women were allowed to do it. And once sound comes in and you start having dialogue, then the writing becomes elevated. And once it becomes like really important, well, then the men are the ones who have to do it. And then they start going and getting like the playwrights in New York. And so there were a lot more women. There were even like women directors in the silent age. So a lot of women got left behind once that switch to sound is made. So does that make you maybe a little bit more like sympathetic to her? Like that's why she's living in the past, because I think she kind of feels like that's all she can do in a way.
Little bit.
Yeah. What do you think of Joe?
He definitely should not have. Like, the moment he saw the dead monkey, he should have, like, rushed out of the house. The moment
that is a rule to live by.
Yeah.
The moment he walked in and saw, like, a dead monkey and a guy doing stuff with a dead monkey or whatever, that he should have just been, oh, okay, this house is inhabited. Bye!
Yeah, I think the second you show up at a house and they assume that you are the undertaker for monkeys, you should leave.
Yeah.
That's just
big
that's a hard,
takeaway.
fast, it's a hard,
it's our big
fast rule.
takeaway from Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
No, but, like, the second he saw that it was inhabited by people that probably, like, they could have been nice, they could have been mean, but he just should have left, because
But
dead monkeys, no.
No
dead monkeys.
But
No
it's
dead monkeys
offset
ever.
by like a very rich movie star offering to give him a lot of money, and he's flat broke. So
Still.
Well, and again, like the other interesting thing about the movie is that he's kind of the bad guy too.
Why?
Like he's the protagonist of the movie, right? So we're invested in him and we care about him. He's taking advantage of her. Like he's lying to her. Like he doesn't tell her this is garbage, it'll never happen. He tells her, well, you know, if you had a real writer working with you, I bet we could get this sold. I bet we could do it.
If she had like a team of maybe 100 professional writers, then yeah, maybe.
You know,
But even then, chance is tiny.
and it's a thing, you know, the fact that he compromises himself essentially that one time is what starts off the chain reaction, because even when he realizes like, oh crap, I shouldn't have done that. Like this is bad. It's too late. He's already in too deep with her. He can't walk away because he sees how fragile she is, and he knows that if he leaves, it's going to make everything worse.
which, you know, I mean, I guess to his credit, I think he does legitimately come to care about her, you know, while having a huge amount of like pity and contempt for her at the same time. So it is a very complicated relationship.
I do agree with you. I don't really think I stand by my point that one, if he didn't just leave, he should have just left. If he didn't, then he should have told her it would take like a team of about 100,000 writers to get that thing even close to being able to be an actual thing.
Yeah.
Well, so she's doing Salome, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Salome is it's an ancient story. It's from the Bible, so it's been around for 2,000 years plus. And it is there a silent version? I think there's a silent version. Oscar Wilde, who's a playwright in the 1800s, wrote a play version of it. I think there's a silent version of it. Has there been? I'm looking. Let me look.
Well, yeah, no, I think
there's a Rita Hayworth
there's a
one.
Rita Hayworth one. Yeah.
Ooh, and there's an Al Pacino one. Hold on, what are we
What?
doing?
Wait
We'll be back. We'll be back right after this brief. We're gonna go watch an Al Pacino one.
When
It's
was-
a film? Please let me. It's a film by Al Pacino.
Oh, so he's not.
I don't know. I don't care.
What year is it?
2011.
Oh,
I'm in.
wow.
Go watch that.
I'm gonna watch that right now.
But it's sort of like it's one of the like famously difficult to make and tell stories because it is sprawling and it is really like impossibly big to actually make. It's this big story about something very small, which is just about the hardest thing you can possibly do in terms of a story. And so it's sort of like, I think there's also in him almost like a little bit of like, look, she's kind of offering me money to do the impossible. Like that's and all of us, and as a writer, you constantly get offered jobs that you shouldn't take, and you're not even getting paid what you're worth, but you hear it and you're like, oh man, like that's a challenge. Like that thing's gonna be impossible, and you still want to kind of do it. So like there's also like as a writer, I understand, and I have the utmost sympathy for sort of the situation he's in. I've also been broke many times in my life, so I also really understand that.
Yeah.
Really?
Is that really? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
No.
Broke? Well, yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, honey,
Oh.
don't be a writer.
Yeah.
I want to be a writer.
There's a
No.
reason. There's a reason why Mom has never given up her librarian civil service job.
I want to be a writer, like book writer, not
Yeah.
screenplay writer.
Oh, I got bad news for you about books, honey.
Why?
Pays worse.
There's a reason why Mom's never given
Given
up
up her
her
job.
civil service librarian job
I
while
wanna
writing
be
books.
A writer.
Anyway, you can
I
be
want to be a writer.
you can be a writer, baby.
I want to be a writer.
So anyway, one of the interesting things that I hadn't like really thought about before is when Norma Desmond goes onto the Paramount lot, she does encounter a lot of people who worked with her and remember her, but it's the security guard at the studio gate, and it's the extras, and it's the guy who doing the lights. And so like all of those people have like had like probably long and really like stable careers in Hollywood, but it's the, and the director, Cecil B. DeMille but it's, the movie star and the screenwriter are the two that are struggling. So the moral is,
What about all those people that were like,
they're all like they're all extras.
yeah. Oh, that they're all pretending to like her.
Oh no, they're absolutely not pretending. Like all the people that see her, oh no, they're all really excited they're all legitimately excited to see her.
Oh, I thought that like he told them to pretend or something.
No. And that's why you see like how big she really was, that when she does return, all of these people are so happy to see her, and still, completely enamored with her. So she was that big. It wasn't just in her head. She really was that big. But the moral of the story is, if you want to have a long career in Hollywood, be below the line.
You're in less, but you last longer.
Yeah, you last a lot longer and have steady work in theory.
And what do you think about her husband / director / butler?
He's weird. He should not have kept the secret from him, and
what secret? What do you mean?
Like that, like to the screen Joe.
To
What
Joe.
is his name? Joe.
Yeah.
Sorry, I watched it a few weeks ago. He should not have kept a secret to Joe that he was her first wife and director.
First
You should-
husband.
His husband. I can't think. First husband.
Yeah.
I cannot think.
But, but you look at how just completely devoted he is to her, even though he's no longer her
Like,
husband.
he seriously wrote fake letters to her so he could boost her ego and keep it.
I find
like
it
that.
interesting, though, like, in the end, though, like, he doesn't cover up. Like, he isn't going to take the fall for her, which I think is interesting.
Well, I think she goes too far, right? Like, she finally...
It's too much even for him.
Yeah.
I'm ready for my photo shoot.
But he will.
Close up, honey. It's close up.
Close up. I'm
Close
ready
up.
for my close up.
That's
I don't know.
It is one of the most famous lines in Hollywood history.
Close up.
Mm-hmm.
The word
Yeah,
close up.
Yes. But it's interesting that he is going to like shepherd her into the arms of the waiting authorities.
I think it's also, but that's also like he knows that now she's so broken, he has nothing he can do.
He has nothing to give her anymore.
And
I'm
like,
guessing-
it's for her. It's literally for her own. It's the only thing for her good, for her own.
Yeah,
good.
because I guess if he gets taken away, what does she have? Yeah.
I'm guessing that the reason that he let the authorities come and take her was like he thought it was for her own good, because like if she just like the longer she lives, the crazier she'll get, and he probably doesn't want her to be crazy if he's that devoted to her. So he probably was like, well, I don't want her to be crazy, so I'm just gonna give her to the authorities. It's for her own good. When she comes back, I'll probably be gone.
No, I think he'll be waiting.
He'll just be like sitting there.
Oh,
Just
no,
like,
I think he'll be waiting for her.
Like he'll sit in an armchair for his entire life until she comes, like with his arms crossed and legs crossed, just be like,
Oh, I don't think so. I think he'll be waiting for her with open arms when she
Nobody's gonna
returns.
do that, like until she comes. Like just sit like by the door. That'd be funny.
Do you want to talk about the cameos, Chrissy?
What's a cameo?
Oh, cameo is when somebody who is like well known just makes a very brief appearance.
Oh, okay.
And so that's where when she's playing the waxworks as Joe calls them, and she's playing bridge with them. And so do you remember who any of them were?
Nope.
One of them you know.
One of them was Humphrey Bogart.
Not Humphrey Bogart.
Banana person.
Close. Buster Keaton.
banana.
You're so funny. Buster Keaton.
Yeah, it's all.
And H.B. Warner. And, the woman is...
It's like a quiz.
Yeah, and I'm failing it miserably.
Is it Anna Nilsson?
Annie Q. Nelson. Yeah.
Really?
So those are all, people that were from the silent era. And so and then Cecil B. DeMille, the director. So he was actually a huge director at that time, and had been for a very long time.
Cool.
And then my favorite one is Hedda Hopper.
Yeah.
Who was
that?
So she was like probably the biggest of the gossip columnists.
Well, her and Luella Parsons,
Right.
the two of them.
Were like competing, but they were gigantic, and they were the ones that everyone had to wine and dine and try to charm so that they wouldn't write unpleasant things about them.
Yeah, so they had newspaper columns, and they were syndicated. So that means even though they were based here in Hollywood, their columns would get published in newspapers
all over the country.
all over the country. And those two women, they had power. They had a lot of power. And so
And they used it right, or they abused it like Citizen Kane.
yeah. Citizen Kane with Luella
Yeah.
Parsons, actually, because Luella Parsons worked for William Randolph Hearst. She wrote for his papers. So she did write stuff about Orson Welles when that movie came out. So yeah, so absolutely. But
Abused their power.
they did. Oh, they absolutely abused their power. Yeah. But Hedda Hopper had actually been an actress. And so she makes cameos in a few. I guess one of these days we'll watch The Women. And she's in that. And she's playing herself. And she's there. And she's like there in the bedroom, with Norma Desmond as she is getting ready to go, be ready for her close-up, which, is so appropriate that Hedda Hopper would be there like in the bedroom.
She's making sure that she's ready to get ready for her close-up.
Yeah, and to write about it. And So yeah, having Hedda Hopper there is a really nice touch, you know. So it's this film that, you know, takes a lot of shots at the film industry, but all of these people were more than happy to participate in it and, you know, kind of poke fun at themselves.
And so, and you know, to that, like, just as you're watching it, and like you've been, I think, pretty lucky, and that you've gotten to go to a lot of the places that you've like, or be around lots of studios because you've come to see me at work or like on sets and things like that. So when you're watching it, like, did the movie feel authentic? Like, did it feel like that is what it's like? Did it feel
No.
no?
No?
Why not?
Like, do you mean like the depiction of the film industry?
Yeah.
You didn't feel like it was authentic?
Yeah, I feel like it's not that crazy anymore, at least. I don't know what the film industry was
she's
like.
probably been shielded to some of the crazy that Josh that you have been.
Yeah, I don't know what
You
I
have borne
did
witness
not
to.
know what the film industry was actually like in the 1940s.
But when Norma's like on the film set, like, did that feel authentic? Because you've been on Daddy's sets when he's been filming TV shows.
His sets are usually more high tech, which of course they would be, because this is
But like the environment.
100 years later.
But like in terms of like the people, like the way that the people are working, and like the sort of like how everyone behaves, and like how when the star is on set, like there's that sort of like that wave that goes over everyone.
I don't remember.
No.
I don't remember the last film set I was on was 3 years ago in New York. And I wasn't really...
You were pretty excited. I know that.
That was pretty exciting.
Okay.
Mostly...
That was only like 2 years ago. It wasn't that
That was
long
3
ago.
years
It
ago.
was December of 2018.
That's 3 years ago. It's
We're-
2021.
But we're in February.
Okay.
Guys, that's for the date podcast that we do,
What?
where we argue about the date.
What?
Yeah, I mean, again, that's one of the things that I like about it is like it feels, it's certainly like a satire of the film industry to some degree, but it feels very accurate, like weirdly accurate. The stuff at the beginning where he's trying to sell the script, like that is exactly what it's like. Like you sit in meetings where you pitch them something original, and by the end of the meeting, you're selling them something that they already have. And then their response to it a week later is like, yeah, we already have that. Why would we want to buy it? And you're like, I tried to sell you something different. You told me to sell you this instead. It's like the most still, and it is. We're 70 years out from it. And it's still probably the most accurate depiction of a writer's life in Hollywood ever made.
Yeah, I think satire of the film industry is less fun now than before I was familiar with it.
Yeah.
Well, just like musicians say, like Spinal Tap is not that funny for them because it's not too far off.
Yeah. So Gable.
We're doing the...
Well, I wanted to know, before we do that.
Oh, before we do that, there's just a few things I would like to point out. Number one, Jack Webb, like a very, I mean, this means nothing to
Who
you,
is
Gable.
that?
The Betty Schaefer,
Nope.
the young screenwriter, the young aspiring screenwriter, it's her fiance.
Nope.
No, he's kind of like the goofy guy who
Nope.
like lives in the apartment that Joe comes to on New Year's Eve.
Nope.
Okay. Well, anyway, it's a very young Jack. He would go on to playing a very deadpanned L.A. police detective in a TV show called Dragnet in the 60s.
And eventually, because it was his show, and so there's still buildings on the Universal lot. There is the Jack Webb building. I worked in the Jack Webb building.
Was it the Jack Webb? I don't remember that. So I think that's fun.
That is Dick Wolf's offices are the Jack Webb building.
Oh, the Jack Webb building. Maybe I remember that. Something I never noticed before at the New Year's Eve party, the people sitting at the piano are playing Buttons and Bows, which I was not familiar with until I wrote a book on Jane Russell, because that is a song from her movie The Paleface that is became closely associated with her. She used to perform it a lot. So that was something that I never noticed before. That was fun. And then the exterior, the mansion, Norma Desmond's mansion, that was a real mansion that was actually on Wilshire Boulevard. And it was, oh God, I think a Getty owned it. And if we ever get around to watching Rebel Without a Cause, the swimming pool is used. I think the swimming pool they put in for this movie, if I'm not mistaken. And then that swimming pool was used for Rebel Without a Cause. That is my LA trivia related to Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah, they use They use the city really nicely. Like it's so.
Oh my gosh, Schwab's. You know, they go to Schwab's drugstore a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
Like Schwab's is like very famous for like Hollywood lore because so many people hung out there. And Lana Turner was not discovered there, but that is like the Hollywood lore was that Lana Turner was discovered sitting at the counter of Schwab's, even though I think it was a different one. So it's just great views of the city.
So Gable.
No.
Well, first, would you recommend this to your friends?
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe 11 or 12.
Okay. But in watching it though, did it hold your interest?
Yeah. It was an interesting movie, like I said earlier.
Okay.
How many, on a scale of 1 to 5, how many Gable smiles do you give it? There's a lot of concentration. She's getting ready. She's going to break through.
There's lip pursing.
It's going to be amazing. Quiet rushes over the crowd.
Yes. Anxiously await.
Not since 2 weeks ago have we had this much drama. Prior to.
What was 2 weeks ago?
I don't know.
Name of a show.
Yeah.
Giving a rating.
Oh, 3.4.
What?
No points.
No points.
Then 4.
Really?
Sure. I was going to do 3.5.
Well, is that more of a 3 or a 4?
I don't know. 3.501.
So 4.
Yeah. By 0.0001.
Okay.
We'll take it.
So you did like it then?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
We're on board. We like it. We're good with that.
All right.
You're not going up for adoption this week.
Not this week. You have staved it off for another week, kid. Good job.
Yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do.
I don't get my own office next.
Yeah, unfortunately. We can move her into the attic.
No, it's creepy up there.
No.
Ooh.
There's
Yes,
all
it is.
sorts of boxes and
It's creepy.
spiders,
There's Christmas decorations up there. Isn't that exciting?
No.
dancing skeletons are
No.
up there.
Yeah.
I don't want dancing skeletons.
You can sleep on all that fiberglass insulation.
No.
Yeah.
No.
It'll get in your
No.
hair.
There's
Nice.
like mold up there.
I think
No, there's
No,
not. They got rid of that.
They got rid
We
of that.
all that.
I think the asbestos is gone.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I have no idea what we're doing next week.
I don't either. We're gonna
Daddy's
find out.
turn or mommy's turn. Whose turn is it?
Well, that's the thing. This is a movie we both love.
Yeah.
This was a mutual.
do like rock paper scissors. And
No, I
whoever
think
wins
no,
is
I
this
think
week's
the
movie.
last one that wasn't a referral was Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
Which was mommy. So this one was daddy.
Yeah.
Mean Streets.
So I think it's a
Raging Bull.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that there is a Scorsese besides Hugo.
Kundun. It's not good.
No.
I'm not doing Kundun.
I'm not
I wouldn't do
doing
that to her. I wouldn't do that to me.
Yeah, I don't know. Can
I've
she
already-
watch?
I saw it
Do
once.
it
I'm
to
good.
mommy.
Can she
What?
watch The Aviator? I've been wanting to watch The Aviator.
Let's discuss this
I
off
mean,
so it's no
it's very long.
spoilers.
It's very long. Yeah.
We'll
discuss it
save
once we're
that.
done with
We'll save that for
recording.
when your book comes out, hon. We can.
Oh, we'll watch
see.
The Aviator when my
Mhm.
book comes out.
Mhm.
Cool.
Can we do Gentlemen for Blondes? Because you said we should watch it.
We can. Well, we're not going to do Gentlemen Prefer Blondes this week, but maybe when my book comes out, we can
We'll do a
Gentlemen-
whole month. We can do a whole month
Hmm.
of Jane Russell ones.
No, I'm just interested in Gentlemen for Blondes and your book. One of my favorite Jane Russell stuff.
Well, there might be other things you like.
Mhm.
We can watch the movie.
For my birthday, can I choose the movie?
No,
Well, why?
that's not the concept.
But it would be my birthday.
Sweetie, we already did Jaws, and we're not doing Harry Potter.
Aw.
All 9 Harry Potters.
No.
No, it's
All-
only 8.
9 is a bonus one. We have to watch.
What?
We have to watch the first one twice.
No.
The third one.
All right.
Are
we
done?
good?
Yeah, I think we're-
Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
I
Really petered out
I
there.
think we already lost a bunch of people.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we will see you in 1 week.
Goodbye.
Bye. The Little Miss Movies podcast is hosted by Christina Rice, Jess Fialkov, and me, Gable Fialkov. Recorded, mixed, and produced in North Hollywood, California. Series art by Gable. Episode art by Gable Fialkov. Theme song by Gibby and the V's. All contents copyright 2021. Valeria Shines Inc. Visit us online for more at littlemissmovies.com.
Good job.